today, right now, you have more power at your fingertips than entire generations that came before you. Think about that. That's what technology really is. It's possibility, it's adaptability, it's capability. But in the end, it's only a tool. What's a hammer without a person who swings it? It's not about what technology can do, it's about what you can do with it. You're the voice, and it's the microphone. When you're the artist, it's the paintbrush. We are living in the future we always dreamed of. We have mixed reality that changes how we see the world, and AI empowering us to change the world we see. You have more power at your fingertips than entire generations that came before you. So here's the question: what will you do with it?
I love this video because it really does sum up the enormity of AI and what we can and what we hope to do with it. But I also look at that little boy's reaction, like, wow, this is big. And it is big, and it can at times, the subject of AI, be extremely overwhelming. And it is, because let's just take stock and set the scene here. Because where are we in this world? You know, we have the internet, we have sensors, we have businesses, we have the Internet of Things, creating unfathomable amounts of data, which is stored in the cloud and needs to be harnessed. We have deep learning and analytics, which are essential everyday tools, which are used to make sense of this data. And then we have AI, which not only helps us make sense of this data, but also augments our ability to reason over that data. And then you've got the machine learning, which is training the AI, and then you've got deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning in AI. And you know what, I've even confused myself already on my first or even second slide. But you know what? The important thing to remember is, you know, we are part of another industry revolution. You know, as we move into this new world, or this different world, let's say, where software is created by machines which are taught how to solve problems, as opposed to programmed how to solve them. Just like with the first industrial revolution, it was our muscles which were amplified by machines. It's indeed now our minds which are amplified by machines. AI isn't just for techies, it's for everyone. We are designing already for generation AI. You know, just doing a quick search, web search on the topic of AI, you'll get a ton of information, opinions, albeit divided. Why am I talking to you today? Well, ultimately, Microsoft has a ton, years and years of research on this topic. Bing is a core part of Microsoft's strategy. To have great AI, you need great data. And what is Bing, but ultimately, as well as a monetizable search engine and a revenue stream for Microsoft, it is a data repository with 2.5 billion entities, entity relationships, people, and actions. Essentially, that data is what fuels AI and powers the majority of our AI applications within Microsoft, and in turn increases search volume and the quality of that data. Thinking about using AI every day, you know, I am certain that you have already used some sort of artificial intelligence application already. Let's think about it. Okay, you may well have watched a film last night, and Netflix has been able to surface recommendations to you. You may have used Waze or Bing Maps to navigate yourself here, which uses AI techniques. If you use Office 365, the Focus Inbox feature uses AI to be able to filter out your most important mail. Other technologies, such as facial recognition, self-driving cars, and robotics, indeed use artificial intelligence, which ultimately may seem quite futuristic, but already we're talking about those technologies today. So let's start with just defining what artificial intelligence is. Now, Wikipedia, a great source, defines artificial intelligence as a machine showing capabilities associated with human intelligence. We're ultimately talking about adding intelligence to machines to help them learn. It's about using data in mathematical, autonomous ways to be able to deliver insights. And why are we talking about it now and today? Ultimately, a few key reasons. Because computing power has moved to the cloud. We've already mentioned the wealth of data available. We have the ability now to bring software and hardware together. We've also made huge advancements in natural language processing, computer vision, and machine learning, which means that now artificial intelligence is coming out of the labs and into mainstream products and services. And what is Microsoft's stance for AI? Well, ultimately, a positive one, because we believe that artificial intelligence will help society, bring society along more than cause problems, let's say. So it will ultimately solve more problems that it will ultimately create. So it's not all about Hollywood-style robots that take over the world and outperform human beings at everything that we think that we are smart at. Our definition of AI is ultimately human ingenuity amplified by intelligent technology. If you have intelligent technology, how can you make human beings be even better than they already are, with the unmatched capabilities that AI brings, helping us free up our time to be more creative and concentrate on the most important things in our day-to-day lives? Now, as well as bringing artificial intelligence into the home and into the workplace, we at Microsoft are really using artificial intelligence to address societal challenges, let's call them, and indeed solve very important problems and issues. So I'm going to begin with the first example of inclusion. One of our engineers who lost his sight at the age of 7 started a project within Microsoft called the Seeing AI, which is an application built for iOS and Android, which helps the blind navigate, or let's say the visually impaired navigate their world with the ability to actually read text from any object. Let's play a video and you can see what else I mean.
I'm Saqib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7, and shortly after that I went to a school for the blind, and that's where I was introduced to talking computers, and that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Hi. Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do. But artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate. And I'm really excited to see where we can take this. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far-off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning.
Wow. Next in education, With the ability to mine vast amounts of data, we're able to use that data to be able to identify pupils that are at risk of dropping out, as well as developing AI technologies to foster more inclusive learning environments. Now, in healthcare, the Inner project uses two core branches of AI, computer vision and machine learning, to be able to delineate between cancerous tumors as well as healthy anatomy. And finally, our world, as we all know, is faced with unprecedented environmental challenges. Arguably, some of the fastest growing populations are in some of the world's poorest parts. And again, what is needed to be able to double crop yield by 2050 is smarter farming. So the project FarmBeats has been working with farmers in India who have no internet connection, using existing infrastructures and the power of machine learning in the cloud to be able to ultimately grow crops in a smarter way. Now, how is AI helping Bing develop into an intelligent search engine? Well, in three ways I can call out today. The first one being on the left-hand side, giving you the ability to search for an image within an image, as is demonstrated by my screenshot when I asked Bing, image search, do dinosaurs have feathers? Second one, whether I want a straight answer or multi-perspective answer, Bing simply has that, as is demonstrated in the screenshot example when I asked Bing, is coffee good for you? And finally, with predictive intelligence, at Bing we have been using, at Microsoft we have been using search, Bing Search, social and other forms of data to be able to make predictions, intelligent predictions about the outcome of tentpole events, whether that be entertainment, right, the Oscars or X Factor, Brexit, the World Cup, and also trying to understand consumer sentiment towards those very important topics. Now, moving on then, so our roadmap for artificial intelligence is ultimately about democratizing artificial intelligence and making it accessible for everyone, very much ingrained in our company mission of helping each person in an organization on the planet to achieve more. And we have a four-pronged approach as demonstrated here on my slide. First of all, by changing the way we interact with technology through conversational interfaces and intelligent agents. Second one, by infusing intelligence into all of our applications and services. The third one, enabling developers to be able to infuse that same intelligence into their own applications. And finally, by ensuring that the infrastructure in the cloud and compute power is set up to be able to support artificial intelligence. I mentioned before, great AI needs great data. And let's just touch a little bit on subjects of data. Because every tweet, every shipment, every interaction, every upload is giving you all very rich information about your customer base. And ultimately, that data needs to be harnessed. Unstructured data is growing at a faster rate than structured data. It is predicted that around 2.5 quintillion bytes of data, which are produced every single day, and around 90% of the world's information was created in the last 2 years. So ultimately, if we don't harness your data strategy now, it's going to get harder. The Microsoft Graph is an increasingly important asset to Microsoft to be able to lead in AI because it contains considerable amounts of enterprise and consumer data. It contains the world knowledge of 2.5 billion entities of Bing and also 148 million Cortana users. It contains the work knowledge of 120 monthly million Office 365 and Dynamics users, and also the 500 million members of LinkedIn. And we can also benefit from the data of those 1.5 billion global Windows users. Our audience, our advertising offers, including our audience solutions, are very much anchored in our understanding of the Microsoft Graph, and we are one of the only companies that is able to provide you with that view. So, moving on then, people remember things in threes, as I'm told, and I want you guys to take away three key opportunities to give you a foundation to find the way you can really use AI to improve your marketing techniques. First one being, AI will enrich your connections with audiences. Second one being that AI will help you personalize those experiences with consumers. And the third one, AI ultimately just make it easier for us all to do our jobs. Through using AI within tools and platforms already, marketers can gain from the automation as well as the opportunity to reason over vast amounts of data, reaping the benefits of machine learning over time. Let's just dig into those very, very quickly. So, consumers have higher expectations, we all know that. More and more internet-connected devices are coming into the workplace and the home, making search a very pervasive tool, which is constantly updated, and learning all the time. AI only works if it has access to that data. And the intent data from search creates a powerful match between the advertiser's intent and the user's intent and the advertiser's offering to create the best customer experience of all time. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to identify with disengaged segments? With churn prediction modeling, you can. This technology uses AI to validate, test, and learn the likelihood of churn. This gives, obviously, marketers the ability to be able to intervene faster and be able to re-engage with those disengaged segments. Referring again to the Microsoft Graph, the aforementioned Microsoft Graph, our advertising offers, again, including marketing solutions, very much anchored in this, as I've already mentioned. One to call out here is Inmarket Audiences, which uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to better understand search and therefore purchase intent. And through predictive intelligence, Bing has over 160 categories to be able to buy from. I'm also happy to tell you that coming, in fact, next month, you can now harness audience and intent data from the Microsoft Graph, coupled with machine learning to reach audiences beyond search. So please come and talk to me about that later. Now, when it comes to personalization, AI systems are constantly learning and searching, let's say, on a user's behalf. And these systems effectively learn preferences. We've mentioned the example of Netflix, Amazon, just the same as well, being able to surface recommendations based on your past interests. And we obviously call this personalization at scale. But the one thing I want to call out around personalization is ultimately this idea of us changing the way in which we interact with technology, in AI enabling you to be able to interact with more personal and emotive methods with consumers. Chatbots essentially are no longer gimmicks. They have high intelligence. And obviously, customer service can be very much the Achilles heel within organizations. Chatbots are ultimately applications that you can converse with using natural language processing to be able to do exactly that. Here is an example of the Home Advisor chatbot. Now, Home Advisor is ultimately a marketplace between consumers and contractors, helping essentially people be able to find folks to be able to do jobs on their behalf. What is great about this application, this chatbot, is that it uses it was built on the Microsoft bot framework, but also it uses Microsoft Cognitive Services to be able to depict the problem, whether it be a broken fence or something, to help find a contractor to be able to do that work on a consumer's behalf. Bots, again, are a really great way to deepen engagement with customers and gain much more valuable data from your consumer base. Now, cognitive computing allows you ultimately to get inside of the consumer's head. Cognitive computing ultimately encompasses speech, language, and also knowledge processing to be able to mimic, let's say, the human brain and give you a better understanding of the idiosyncrasies, let's say, of your consumer base. Using the Emotion API, Unilever wanted to answer that very, very important question as to why the nation was so divided about the taste of Marmite. And in partnership with us, they developed a web sampling application and used facial recognition to be able to understand a user of that application's reaction when they tasted Marmite. As you can see here, the results speak for themselves. folks actually engage with content for around 2.5 minutes. We beat the top tweeted spots, even better than X Factor. And what you may not know is that Unilever have a global partnership with IBM's Watson, and actually they chose to use Microsoft Cognitive Services because of their agility and accuracy and speed. Finally, making the most of your market investment is ultimately around streamlining and automation. And AI, again, can help you achieve exactly that. Obviously, a key way that AI can automate marketing is with programmatic advertising that we're all familiar with, which essentially takes care of the buying and selling and also optimizing of ads. And indeed, we have infused our own products with AI, with products like dynamic search ads, which obviously uses automation that takes sort of the effort out of a keyword strategy, and also other products such as automated search functionality, enhanced CPC, and sort of being able to gain insights on the fly through our opportunity center. Now, finally, and even more exciting, advancements in machine learning are improving predictive search capabilities, which aren't just contained within the search experience itself. At Microsoft, we've been using search data to be able to help businesses make informed decisions about what's really going on by detecting patterns of behaviors within the data within their businesses. Cortana intelligence and machine learning is a technique used to be able to get a better understanding of demand forecasting, as well as consumer sentiment towards certain products. The best example I have is that we worked with a leading ice cream company who noticed a decline in sales in some of their mainstream products. Instead of going very aggressively on those existing products, they actually used this technique, mining tons and tons of data, and actually a key pattern emerged around veganism. So what they did was they brought a new vegan ice cream to market. This was very much experiential, a prototype, but ultimately they are now a market leader for those ice cream lovers who are indeed vegan. In conclusion, there's a ton of things to take away from this presentation. Again, AI isn't just for techies, it's for everyone. It is here now. We really do think about AI and its ability to really augment what we can do as human beings. But let's just take away 3 key things here. Again, your data strategy is super important, more important than it ever has been before. As well as your consumer engagement strategy, it may now be time to invest in a bot strategy. Again, Gartner also predicts that by 2020, the customer will manage around 85% of the relationship with an enterprise without even interacting with a human being. So that is something. And finally, taking advantage of automation within marketing. We are very much invested in AI, in automation, and helping marketers achieve more. Indeed, so should you be. Thank you very much.